thank you for joining me. For today's video, we are going to be doing a review on the new Urban Decay Backtalk palette. This is a eye palette as well as a face palette. So we're going to be going in depth on this palette and also doing this tutorial using it. So if you guys are ready to hear a little bit more about this palette, go ahead and keep on watching. Started, here is what the palette looks like. This is the new Backtalk palette from Urban Decay. So what's really cool about this palette is it actually has double sides to it. So if you start out this way, this is the face palette, and this has 2 highlights as well as 2 blush colors. And then if you actually turn it around, you're gonna have the eyeshadow palette, which has 8 different eyeshadow colors, as well as in the middle, there is a mirror that is actually retractable. So you can take this mirror out, which is really cool, and then just have the palette like this. I wouldn't recommend necessarily leaving it like that because I feel like it does kind of, when you go to put the mirror back in, it kind of makes it harder for it to stay all together. But it's kind of cool because the mirror does come out, so it makes it really easy when you're like doing eyeshadow and things like that. You can just use the mirror. So let's get into some swatches. So here are the swatches from the face side. We have the 2 highlighters as well as the 2 blushes. I absolutely love the blushes. I think they are beautiful, as well as both the highlights are super, super pretty. I really like this one on the end. I think that one's my favorite over this one. This one is pretty, but I think this one is a little bit more pigmented than this one. So really, really pretty on the face side. All right, and then moving on to the eye side, here are the swatches of those. So as you can see here, the shimmers in here look super pigmented. The mattes look really nice, so they do look really nice swatched. All right, so chatting about what I think of the formula of this palette. So talking about the eyeshadow palette side first, I think that the mattes on this palette are absolutely beautiful. They blend out so, so nicely, especially Backtalk, which is this one right here. That is my favorite shade from the palette. WTF is a good one. Also, this one here is actually really pigmented as well. So those mattes in here are absolutely beautiful. There's 3 mattes in the palette, but then you have the shimmers. So we have these 2 lighter shimmers right here. Honestly, I feel like those hardly show up at all. I feel like they're kind of really hard to get on your brush. Even using them with my finger, I had a tough time. And then some of the other colors here, like the more vibrant shimmers, I also had a hard time using those ones as well. I just feel like they were really hard to apply with my brush. I had a hard time with my finger. You'll see when I do the tutorial, it just takes a lot of work to get them on your lid. I'm used to more of like a foil type of shimmer where it's very easy to apply and you just get that pigment right away. These are definitely a more softer shimmer. All of Urban Decay's eyeshadow palettes actually are. I know with the Kristen Leanne palette though, the shimmers in that palette are amazing. They are so pigmented and beautiful. But the shimmers in this palette kind of remind me of the shimmers like in my Naked 2 palette, where you kind of just have to work more to get them to show up. They're just not as pigmented as I would like them to be. So I don't know, I kind of feel like I do like the mattes like I said, but for me, I feel like I'm not a fan of really any of the shimmers in here. I just feel like they're hard to work with. So I guess it's really up to you guys what you like or what kind of shadows you're into. For me, I just feel like this eyeshadow palette is kind of a bit of a miss. Although I do want to talk about the face side. I actually love the face side of this palette. I think that both of the highlights are absolutely beautiful. I have them on right now and we'll do that tutorial here in a second. The blushes in here are beautiful. I feel like they apply really, really nicely. They apply a lot of product without being too much product to where it makes it really easy to apply. And like I said, the highlights are absolutely gorgeous. All right, so now that you know how I feel about this palette, let's go ahead and start with the tutorial so you can see it in action. So I did already go ahead and prep my eyes with some Tarte Shape Tape, and if you see like a little bit of black, that's because I had eyeliner on. I've already filmed another look today, so that's what that is. So I'm gonna go in with the Backtalk palette. And to start off, I'm going to use the shade right here, which is actually called Backtalk. This is my favorite shade in the palette. I'm applying it with a Morphe M433, and I'm basically just going to take this and apply it in my crease. I am going to bring it up a little bit as well. So as you can see, the shade just kind of blends itself out. It's very, very pigmented and it's very easy to work with. So now to deepen it up, I'm gonna go in the shade WTF and I'm gonna use that to kind of just deepen this up a tiny bit. I'm still just using the same brush and I'm just gonna kind of tilt my head back and I'm gonna apply that just into my crease just to kind of deepen it up a little bit. For the shimmer, I'm actually going to use this one right here, which is called Shade, which is like that purpley color. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my finger for this. I feel like with a brush, I just don't get the best pigmentation, so I'm going to try my finger and see how that applies. I've used this shade before with a brush, so I'm going to try it with my finger. I'm just gonna pick my brush back up and take a little bit more of Backtalk and kind of just blend this all together, making sure that there's no harsh lines or anything like that. That's gonna do it for like the super simple eye look. I'm gonna go ahead and do my other eye and then we'll come back and do the lower lash line. All right, so I went ahead and I did the rest of my face. You can tell we're doing a little bit of baking. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish the lower lash line. I did apply some liner and then some lashes. These are a little bit of a bold lash. I did apply these just because I feel like with this eyeshadow look, it's so minimal that I wanted something kind of bolder with the lashes. I'm just taking Backtalk on this small flat definer brush from Sigma and I'm just kind of smoking out this lower lash line, getting it pretty close up there and then just kind of bringing it down pretty low as well. Okay, so now that we have that smoked out, I'm gonna go ahead and go into WTF again, and I'm just gonna put that just on the outer corner. This mirror is literally so handy. I feel like I'm gonna use this all the time. All right, so now that that's done, I'm just gonna run back over it with my little, this is a Morphe E36, and just kind of make sure it's all blended together. Now from the face side, I'm going to take this highlight right here in Fool Party, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of that on my MAC 228 and apply that to my inner corner. So for my blush, I'm going to use the second shade right here, which is called Double Take. And I'm just going to be using it on my Sigma Duo Fiber brush. This is the F50, and I'm just going to apply that to my cheeks. Now moving on to highlight, we're going to take that Party Foul shade and we're going to highlight our face with it. I'm just using my Morphe M501 brush and applying it. I didn't wet my brush or anything. This is what the highlight looks like. I'm going to apply a little bit to my nose. And I'm going to finish with one of the Hi-Fi Shine lip glosses. This is in Obsessed. If you guys want, I have a full review on these as well up on my channel. Alright guys, and this is the final look using the Backtalk palette. So like I said, I'm kind of in between. I feel like I love the mattes in this palette. And I really do like the face side. So I love the highlights and the blushes. I also really love the concept. I love the mirror. I think that this palette is really nice for travel. I'm just not in love with the shimmers. I feel like they don't really perform well at all, to be honest. So yeah, I guess I will leave it up to you guys what you think of this palette. If you think it's worth it, let me know if you guys like the shimmers in this palette or if you've tried it out yet. Please let me know in the comment section down below. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you go. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, as well as on Fridays. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, everybody.